Welcome back to Tommy's Trading Post. This is episode 6 of our recaps, our monthly recaps. This is going to be the one for January, and we'll be diving into everything that happened for Tommy's Trading Post in terms of cards sold by set, expenses going down, all of the data per se in terms of what the month of January looked like. And I have a few different announcements at the end that I'll start to make in terms of things that I'm working on. I'll show one of the highest sold cards that I've sold this past month, and we'll just dive in and have a little bit of fun. This is going to be a shorter one. I am currently in Florida enjoying some time off with my girlfriend and her family, and I wanted to still make this video, but it's definitely going to be shorter, but we'll start to dive in right about now.
All right, so let's dive into January real quickly here. As you can see, this is January of 2026. We had a really good month. We sold close to probably over 1,300 cards, but 1,283 through eBay alone. We grossed sales close to 4,000. Now, this is probably easily the best month that I've ever had. You can see on the right-hand side, we had a couple from Venmo and PayPal. And then you dive a little bit more. So the eBay fees are going to be up. I'll show you kind of the year look. This is due to eBay switching to their new promotions where it's anybody clicks on the ad, then anyone buys, it still goes through. I'm only doing 2%. That is something I said previously that I would take off promotions completely. I decided to keep them on my variation listings for 2%, which is the lowest you can do. And I'm okay paying that. It's pennies on the dollar for each order, to be completely honest, especially with low-end cards. It's not that big of a deal. Shipping labels were close to 1,000, which is kind of crazy. You can see some were from Pirate Ship. So these are orders that are outside of eBay, where I do, if somebody is kind of like a VIP collector for me, or, I work with them a lot, they, send me what they're looking for. I collect it all, and then I ship it to them off of eBay. So that's what I use is Pirate Ship. You can see refunds. A lot of this is due to my shipping cap that I have talked about previously. Most of the time when people buy a lot of cards, I send them a refund in terms of the shipping cost to only be $4.25. Shipping materials, we upped a little bit. Kept materials, I bought, I believe, like a clicker to take pictures. And then we still bought $1,500 worth of cards. The one caveat on this is I bought a card for a collector around $475. And what we did is kind of like a trade. She sent me $90 plus a bunch of cards that she wanted or didn't want anymore, and I sent her that card. So the price on that is still the $475. Now I have cards that I can sell that, technically would have brought that price down if she just paid me the $475. The great thing is the overall net here, as you can see, $700 in the green, which is amazing, especially with that deal that I made. I did not think that I would be honestly in the green at all. I thought I would be in the negative. But we can check real quick to look at the monthly breakdown. Again, the most gross sales we've had in a long time. Again, almost that 4,000 mark. And you can see in terms of like the eBay fees and promoted, that jumped up quite a good amount. And we're back in the green total, $200. It was funny. I was joking with my girlfriend. I could technically say I have a 5-figure trading card company now that I've sold, $20,000 worth of gross sales, but I will not say that since I'm only in the green a little bit. But we have a lot of great cards that I picked up, a lot of Galaxy cards and things like that I'm extremely excited to get live, which some of them should be already. But overall, a really good month. I felt really good about it. Way better than I honestly expected because, again, I thought I would honestly be in the red here. But to be 700 positive, it's great. February will definitely be down. I am currently on vacation. I'm sure most of you might know that. So we're away. I'm not able to re-update my variation listings with new cards. So a bunch of those are kind of getting sold out. But that's all right. February will still be a good month. And we'll continue to pick back up. But some really good stuff. Again, crossed the 1,000 cards sold mark. That I'm really happy about. And then, next we'll dive into last month's sold data in terms of the sets and the years. So diving in next, we'll go into the last month sold data here real quick. As you can see, 1977s continue to be the largest portion of what I sell by a long shot. The great thing here is you can kind of see that it was spread really well. Series 1, the Blue Series, but also 4 and 5 were over 100. The reds were close to 100 stickers. I feel really good about this from, again, a seller's perspective that not everything is based on just one listing. There are a good amount of listings that get cards sold from them. And it's just a good feeling that I'm not relying just on, the blue series, so to speak, for my sales. But as we dive a little deeper, you can see the 1980s, the Series 1s did really well. I'm getting more Series 3s. It's something I've lacked for the past year and a half since I started this. I just don't have a lot of the 1980 Series 3s, but I'm getting a full set here and some additional ones that I'll list. And then you can break down again, the 2023s actually broke past the 1983s, which is normally not the case. Again, vintage is my main thing. But the 23s kind of jumped up here, and a lot of even just the chromes, not even the galaxies. The chromes were a big factor in that as well. You can even see some Topps Finest from 2023 and some flagship, which I think are underrated. I have a lot of them, and people just don't enjoy them as much, but I think they're a great card, especially the cover, I think, or the comic arts or cover arts. The lightsaber cuts are cool, just underrated in my opinion. But overall, 23s are actually starting to break through. And then you can kind of go through, 1983, 22, and so on and so forth. As we dive into the eBay side of things, sorry, that's my applications. Where is it? Here it is. Diving into the eBay side of things, you can see here that we did, close to 4K in total sales, 2,300 in net sales. Again, that's eBay side of things. This is why, depending on when this comes out, I talked about finances in a short video about how eBay net is not just truly your net. So you really need to understand your finances. The great thing is we're getting a lot more repeat buyers. You can see some one-time buyers. I feel really good about kind of the health of what I'm doing. I feel like a lot of people come to me and come back. I've built some really good connections with some collectors, and a lot of people either come to me and I sell outside of eBay, or I continue to sell to them on eBay, which is totally fine. But overall, a good month. You can see, our average sales price went down a little bit. We had a lot more auctions, something that I'm doing a lot more of. And you can see throughout the month, we had, an average, I would say, around $100 in terms of sales. Obviously, 3,800 times or divided by 100 would be, around 38 days. Just really healthy, and I feel really good. I've gotten a lot of great messages from buyers and people that I just genuinely connect with, and are starting to become some really good friends that, even as I'm scaling, I'm not losing that personal touch or that collector touch, which is still a main focus for me. The one thing or two things I wanted to highlight is I sold a lot of 2021 Topps Chrome Galaxies, which was a set I've never had before, and somebody sold it to me in terms of like a bunch of bulk, which was really cool. I got to see what those cards truly look like. I've only seen, I think, the Boba's Prize, because I have a prism of that. And then the one other one that I wanted to showcase was this goldenrod. I finally got rid of it. I sold it previously. The guy never paid, but I finally got to sell my first goldenrod. Went for obviously 154 with shipping. 74 bids, and the collector who got it, I'm pretty sure was pretty happy. I sent him a one-touch mag safe, or a one-touch case with it as well, because I feel like this is a card that definitely deems or is worthy of having that in the package as well. So again, feel really good about this month overall. I just feel like I'm scaling well, but I'm not losing that personal touch. I've really connected with a lot of folks. So we'll kind of dive into some of the things that I'm working on, some of the things that I'm excited about. But this was a really good month overall. Dove into some of the numbers. Again, a quicker episode, but I'll quickly dive into kind of what I'm looking forward to here and what you can expect from Tommy's Trading Post moving forward. So diving into some of the fun things that I'm working on or just excited about moving forward, past obviously January, moving into February and March here, as things start to warm up in the Midwest. I'm, again, currently in Florida, but there's a few things that I'm working on. And the one first thing is a Facebook group for collectors only. It's not like a buy-sell trade. It's currently in the works. And the idea around it is I just want to build more of a community aspect where people can share their cards. They can share what they're looking for. They can share cool mail days, anything around that. They can ask questions on checklists, on different cards that they're looking for, what maybe this specific variation means, or whatever the case may be. It's something that I was trying to do a little bit more on the website, but I don't think that's fully to the point where I can do that.
And a Facebook group is a safe, secure place where people will be able to do that. And I can bring a lot of these people that were collectors that I've talked to together. I've had separate conversations, text messages, met them in person, whatever, and I can bring them into one place that hopefully everyone feels safe, secure, and comfortable sharing their love for, Star Wars cards and their characters or scenes or movies. So that's the first kind of bigger update. The second one that I'm contemplating is stickers. The thing that I've done with stickers in the past is just done a little sticker on a shipping label, cut them up, and then placed them on the envelope. I'm not sure if I will continue to do that. But for me, I truly love stickers, and I'm not going to try to make this a massive thing, but I love stickers in packages when it's not just the person's logo, but it says something, it means something. So there's a few designs that I'm currently working on that I love. I'm thinking I'll put them in packages that are, a little bit pricier just because they are pricey to make. And I don't want to give them out to people that, might not want them, but somebody who's a true Star Wars collector, I think would love the design, would stick it on their water bottle. I used to have a bunch on here. I don't have that anymore. I took them all off, but I'll put one on there. And so that's another piece that I'm currently working on. And then two more quick updates. One is that I've added a good amount of checklists to Tommy'sTradingPost.com. I've started to redesign how I would make those checklist pages. I hope that they are more user friendly is the goal around this. But for more modern checklists, they're going to have their own page instead of be all of the 2020s all in one page. I feel like that was a lot. So I've added, I think, checklists for all of the Galaxy sets, the Topps Chrome Galaxy sets since 2021. I have a bunch of the 1990s, all the 80s, all the 77s in terms of like the main ones or main sets. But that's something I'm actively really trying to push and get myself to finish a lot of that. I want to be caught up where I can start to get to new sets that drop, but I don't know if I'll ever get there. And then the last thing that I'm very excited for is a collector that I've sold to and have started to become closer with. Reached out to me about how he uses my website a lot. He shows people, and he's actually going to be at the Milwaukee Comic-Con. The interesting thing is we both didn't know that we were both in Wisconsin. So he actually has a booth there, and he asked if there would be a way that I could, get a flyer or something along those lines for him to be able to hand out at the Comic-Con and help with collectors. He says he loves the website. It's something he wishes he would have. He just doesn't have one, and he uses mine, which I truly appreciate. So I designed some cool little business cards, for lack of better words. Maybe I'll pop some up and kind of show you the design. But yeah, I'm going to be getting those to him. It's the Milwaukee Comic-Con, I believe. It is February 21st in Milwaukee. I'm going to be going and getting to meet him in person and go to his booth, hopefully pick something up. And then I'll be giving him, a discount on some cards or whatever for pushing Tommy's Trading Post. But it was very genuine. It just shows me that I feel like I'm doing the right things by building connections because he reached out to me about it instead of me asking him. And it also means that like the website I'm building is starting to be a true resource for people, not just, I don't want it to be like a selling platform. I want it to be somewhere where people can go get information on supplies, checklists, these videos. And it's just like a really good confirmation that I feel like I'm moving in the right direction. So those were kind of the bigger updates, some things that are kind of a work in progress, some things that are happening. I'm really pumped about the direction I'm moving. I feel like I've got a lot going on and I'm trying to narrow in on what I really want to focus on in terms of videos or in terms of community building, brand building. And I'm really working on getting my systems in place to make things more efficient and so that I can get, collectors the cards that they want faster, list them faster and things like that. But I just feel like I'm in a really good space. Please shoot me a comment, shoot me a message if you're like, man, you're doing this completely wrong, or you're not as community focused or collector focused as you think. But with the things that are going on, I'm just getting some confirmation that I feel like I'm moving in the right direction. And I'm just excited for what's to come. I'm hoping next video I'll be able to show off more of my personal collection again. I've added a few cards, maybe a few too many, and one that I'm so excited about. I already have the card in a different number, but I finally got the Mojo, which I'm pumped about. So hopefully I'll be able to share that off, and who knows, maybe a new sketch. I'm trying to hold off and not buy too many cards for my personal collection, but it's getting to that point where I gotta figure out which ones that I'm gonna get rid of. So yeah, appreciate y'all. And thanks for all the support. Maybe in the new video, it might be in a new home with a better office setup, better everything. So thanks again. But this is the recap for January. I hope you're having a great February. I hope if you're in the cold that you're staying warm. If you're in the warm, push it our way up to the Midwest and everywhere else so that we can get to the summer months. But thank you all very much, and we'll catch you in the next episode. See ya.